Hi, everyone.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good day. My name is Esther, and I will be moderating this session. Please let's wait for about 5 minutes to give everyone ample time to join in. Thank you for your patience. All right. I believe we can get started. Once again, my name is Esther and I'll be moderating the session. Welcome to TorestTech webinar 4.0. And I can see some faces that have been with us from our first webinar up until this moment. Welcome once again. And for this webinar, we'll be talking on the AI advantage, the skills every IT professional needs to stay relevant. And you'll be learning how AI is reshaping IT careers and what you, as an IT professional or enthusiast, need to remain relevant in IT support. And we have three amazing speakers, one of which is our host and the founder of TorestTech as well. So we have Mr. Omotayo Aino, Muhammad Talha Khan, and Satoru Sheju Boyu. We'll be speaking today on this topic, and of course, they have their various subtopics that is under the umbrella of this topic, right? So, our very first speaker for today is Omotayo Aino, and I'll just give a brief bio about him. Omotayo is a seasoned big data and AI consultant, and he currently works at Vodafone as a senior solutions architect AI with extensive experience across the IT and telecom sectors. He specializes in AI, cloud, big data, security, and compliance with expertise in generative AI, machine learning, LLMs, and enterprise architecture. He designs secure, scalable solutions that help organizations adopt AI responsibly and has a strong track record of delivering complex technology and infrastructure projects across leading cloud platforms. And he will be taking us on the topic building an AI ready career, the skills that matters in enterprise IT. Welcome once again, Mr. Omotayo Aino, and the floor is yours to take the topic.
Thanks everyone. Nice to meet you all. Just one moment. So I think as mentioned, my name is Omotayo Aino, solution architect. I work with Vodafone, and then I face a lot of discussion are kind of involved in a lot of discussion around how AI is shaping the career as it is now. We know the world seems to be changing, but this is not the first time, right? But how can we stay abreast? How can we stay focused and still, navigate the waves and still become relevant as things are going? Because what matters most is adaptation. So we need to adapt to the technology as things are changing. As I've said, this is not the first time we'll be facing this. I will start by sharing my screen just to walk you through some few slides I've prepared, just to make it a little bit interesting. Okay, let me pick it out 1 second. Please, if someone can confirm if my screen is visible. Perfect. So, as earlier mentioned, just talk about how to build your AI career in this, in this space. So, a lot of things are changing in enterprise IT, as we all know it. But then two things matter most: the technical and the human skills. That will always be there. And that's the key things we need to adapt, we need to change as time goes on. So moving on to the next slide. What are the areas? Just to quickly talk about my slide so that I can give more room to, for questions if there's any. What are the areas where AI has landed or that we'll start seeing AI really becoming a thing? Like when I say a thing, it means that it's really taking shape and it seems to be, creating ROI, return on investment for the organization, and they are putting more investment into that sector or into that area where AI seems to be becoming valuable. One is the AI ops. That is when the operation is turned into predictive. In the early days, you would need to figure out what happened when a ticket is raised. You figure out what errors, what of the which application have issues and all that. But these days, it's more preventive. We're preventing that because now we have AI ops that can dictate before it happens and prevent it from happening. So it's more like alert that arise with a probable cause attached to it, telling you something is going to break, you have to do this, or your CPU is maxing out and stuff, and how to prevent it, what exactly you need to do. It doesn't have to happen. You don't have some workflow that are very strict or fixed, but now things are dynamic because AI is very intelligent in capturing or kind of dictating that before it happens and also remediating it even as it happens in most cases. Then we'll talk about support shifting to left. That we have, before now, you see different tiers of support, tier one, tier two, tier three, and so on. The first people will be, customer call a company and they're raising the concerns that they're having about a product or about a solution or service. And then you move on to the escalation ladder, maybe tier two, tier three, but that has changed now. You have AI assistant who we interface with customer or most cases solve the customer problem even before it moves to escalation case. So woman that sit in the forefront comes back, to become an escalation, uh, you know, individual that support the organization. So it reduces a lot of interfacing that happen with customers and then, enhance the productivity of the IT support team in that regards. Then we have the infrastructure becomes AI workloads. So it's more of the amount of infrastructure you have now that can support AI workloads that determines how well you grow. Then you focus more on the billing. So we have the GPU, we have the vector store, which is more of a database that is very, very fast. Then we talk about inference endpoint, whereby the endpoint or for most of us that use ChatGPT or Claude or whatnot, when you type in a request, you get a response back. You type in a prompt, you get a response back. The aspect of the system or the chatbot that is giving that response back is what we call the inference endpoint. And serving for inference endpoint, because you have a lot of users that's going to be using your application, that's a chatbot that is being created, you need a lot of infrastructure that will back that. You can imagine, the infrastructure or the data center that OpenAI will have, or Anthropic will have, or Google will have, just to serve AI workloads, because that is that is a lot of infrastructures in place. Then we talk about governance and IT. So a lot of things are happening. As we all know, governance has always been there even before AI, but with AI, things are changing. So hence, we have model in terms of what models is people are allowed to access. Within your organization, a lot of people are using AI, and when you're using AI, you're feeding AI with something, maybe a prompt, it can be a document, you're telling summarize this document for me and all that. So this can become an issue if it's not approved within the organization. You can, in one way or the other, share the organization, trade secrets out to the LLM, and someone can intercept it. Even the LLM provider organization can intercept it and then, use it and probably create or replicate that same complaint. And it makes that complaint, redundant at some point. We'll see that happening with Figma, Cloud becoming a design organization, while Figma that seems to be known for their design is becoming redundant in that regards for those of us that knows about Figma. So moving on to the next part. So what is changing in our day-to-day work as an operator? One, the ticket we see to be reactive ticket triage is becoming pattern analysis and the prevention. Just as I've mentioned earlier. 1 second. Running a run book. Writing run book as code has become the order of the day now. Knowing knowing why something fails is now about knowing the product. Shipping small internal tools is the way to go now. As again, scripting one-off fix when something breaks, you create a way to fix it. Becomes one of fix. But now with AI, emergence, that has changed. Things is moving very, very fast. And before, we're all about answering questions. But now we are the one framing, the question to get the right answer from AI now to be able to, support our work properly. So overall, the less time executing this creates less time executing the work, more time designing, supervising, and also owning the system that actually execute these solutions that we support in our day-to-day as a BAU or business as usual. So when we look at the history, and this has been the major, concerns a lot of people have when it comes to AI. We look at AI as, this is coming to take my job, or what will happen in the next few years. A lot of people are getting sacked. That has been the concern. But that's not the first time. But then what matters most is how we adapt, how we change. Is when we don't change, that might be a concern. But the moment we change, we become much more relevant than, we can be displaced if we are more relevant or more valuable in our job. So if you look at the era of punch card, most of the concern, storage is going to kill operators' role. But that didn't happen. Operators just need to advance their career to become a system administrators. And that's what we see. And then Windows 95 came about. It makes PC accessible, makes things a lot easier. And people look at, PC is not going to be easy. You don't need expert again. But that wasn't true. This creates several rules around help desk, right? Then we'll talk about virtualization. We'll talk about VMware, a lot of other, solutions that support virtualizations. And it's all about, now we're going to have one physical server. You can run a lot of virtual machine on it. But then, are we going to need people anymore? But that wasn't true. We still require infrastructure engineering team to support the virtualization system. The same goes with cloud as well. With the advent of Amazon becoming, cloud platform where you don't need data center as much again, but that gives way to cloud architect, cloud security, and so on, cloud engineer, and so on and so forth. So there will always be, work to do. We just need to adapt, learn more skills, get up to date about what's going on, and then adjust. So we'll be looking at the fifth one, which is the generative AI or the agentic AI era. So before we proceed into how to kind of prepare yourself for the future, right? There are three key things we need to know about: the AI and data, the cloud platform, the enterprise architecture. So the fastest growing enterprise IT sits in between or kind of at the center of these three key areas. Whereas when we talk about cloud is the delivering surface where, these days when you want to host anything, website or whatnot, or an application, it all run on cloud. When we talk about data is the gold. It determines everything. Without data, there's no AI, as we say. Then we'll talk about architecture. Architecture is more or less where we make decisions around, should we build this or should we buy this? So it's more like deciding which one is the best approach in terms of cost and a lot of other factors. So when we look at any enterprise IT that is growing right now, they are in between these three key areas. And when we talk about AI, talk about data, AI. So that's why there's no kind of a separate space for AI, because without data, there's no AI, as I've said earlier. Okay. So what are the key skills? As I said in my first slide, we have technical skills, we have human skills. The technical skills are, a lot of them, but we just need to be able to differentiate, the two. That's why I came up with, a few of them just for us to kind of look through it. One, cloud fluency. We need to at least pick one platform. If we're not familiar with cloud these days, we need to pick one. There is Amazon, there is AWS, there is Google Cloud, there is Azure Cloud, So there's even Alibaba, there's Oracle Cloud, and there are a lot of them now these days that we can pick one. I would suggest more popular one, the top three, but then we can pick one and just be very good at it in terms of being technical. And now I had a lot of discussion about now that here I generate code, do we need to learn coding and all that? In between, my advice is try and learn it so that when you see what AI generate, you can correct it. Yeah, and you can tell it to do it the right way. So it's still very important to still learn, maybe not as deep as as you will before, but it's still something to still learn to understand properly if we don't know that already. But if we know it, why not? That's good. Just what is required to become much more better at it. Then data literacy, applied AI, security governance, and automation with infrastructure as a code, like maybe Terraform and other IAC tools that are out there. So talking about human skills, this is extremely important. We have problem framing. So if you need AI to do something, or if you want to do something, you need to understand it deeply to know how to actually frame it. Framing meaning how to ask AI to get the job done, how to split it into steps, how to, kind of come up with the definition of done or acceptance criteria. That is, if you tell AI do X, Y, Z, and then you don't want AI to do rubbish at the end of the day, you want it to give you specific results, you need to tell it what the results should look like. That should be your acceptance criteria. And now, once it's done, you want it to this is when I want it to be done, so that it doesn't keep going and, keep expanding things. Because for most of what we must have experienced it with AI that you tell AI to do something and then you keep doing it. It become, maybe you want it to kind of create, let's say, white and green. Create white and green, then it tells you can do red. You try red, oh, red looks good. Then you try purple. Then you keep going around the circle, but you never finish. So you need to have a definition of done. That's how to get the best or value out of AI. You need to know what you want, definition of done, also, acceptance criteria. Those are the key three things that needs to go into why communicating with AI or why framing a problem to get the best out of AI. Then we have translation. You need to be able to translate. It all goes into framing as well, but I carved that out because that's also very, very important. Then we have judgment. You need to know when something is wrong and right, because AI is kind of built in a way, I call it sycophancy. Like when you're wrong, it tells you, yes, you're right. You tell it this not right, you tell it yes. It's like a yes sir or yes ma to you. It's a copilot that doesn't disagree with you. So whereas you want it to be able to disagree with you, you want it to be able to give you the right answer. And you need to be very judge every input or kind of every output that it provides to ensure that you get the best out of it. Then whatever AI does is still you own everything. You're responsible for it as well. And then you need to learn fast. You need to learn all the tools that are out there around AI. I know it's a lot, but you have to try and keep up with whatever you can lay hands on. It's very, very important. Okay. So your next step. So we have 4 areas I'm looking at here. The IT support and help desk. What are the areas to focus on next? How to get kind of AI-assisted triage. Those are the areas to focus on. Knowledge-based creation, scripting, the repetitive tickets, how to this ticket, or we always get this query, how do we, automate it? And then that leads to becoming an automation or platform support, personnel within an organization. And then how about system administrator? Areas to focus on, infrastructure as a code. How do you, automate or kind of work with tools that sort of turns what you do into a code. That's what we look at in terms of infrastructure as a code. You can use Terraform, you can use any other available tools out there. The observability and alerting. This is extremely important. Identity as scale, because when we talk about AI, we talk about AI agents and so on. All these are like human. So we have agent identity, we have human identity. How do you implement solution that differentiate between the two, and how do you manage them? So that becomes things that system administrator needs to start looking at. And that leads to being an SRE, that is site reliability engineer, and then platform engineering role. So that's system administrator becoming a different role of being focused on roles that are relevant to the AI age. Then we have cloud professional, cloud architect, cloud engineer, and so on. The next focus is AI and data services on your platform. How to allocate GPU, understanding the metrics or understanding the cost implication of GPU usage, and how to manage that within a workload. And also network for inference endpoint as well. And that sort of leads to AI platform engineering roles as well. Then the last one is enterprise IT and architecture. So here we're talking about reference architecture for here, because we have a lot of reference architectures in terms of other dimensions or other areas, like for security, for secure by design, for privacy by design, and other areas. But now we're talking more of AI, so we need to look into how our architecture aligning to AI solution or AI workloads. Then governance and risk. How do we ensure that we meet up the regulatory requirement around the use of AI and the risk about AI? For instance, if you're using AI within your organization, you need to consider that if you're using as a user facing, AI can say something wrong, and in that way, it's your company's image or it's your company branding that is at risk in that case. So you need to look at what are the risks. What you need to check on the risk acceptance level of your organization to see how you can adopt AI within some certain area, or what are the implementation you need to put in place to kind of reduce those risks, to remediate those risks. Then we'll talk about decision around what to buy and what to build. That's also very, very important. In this day, most solutions are out there that you can just leverage or build upon. Some it's just better to buy, and some it requires that you just start from scratch. So it all depends on individual and different use cases, and that goes with AI solution architecture role. So towards while preparing this, I thought, why not make it a 90-day rule, a 3-month approach? Because if you look at most things that when I'm talking about habits or talking about growth or anything, it's all about 90-day rule. Like, why not look into that? Which seems that really sort of help. I've seen it really help a lot of people. So in month 1, it's all about building the base. Like genuinely really understanding one platform and understanding it very well to the extent that you can automate things around it. So, and that's the first one. And the second one is shipping one real thing, something that you work on and then integrate with LLM. And not just only you working on it and see how fantastic it is, but also getting at least one person or a couple of people around you to actually test it out to see how well you've worked on this, and get feedback and reiterate on making it better. Then the last part, which is the third month, is making it visible. Making it visible means that you can put it on LinkedIn. You can post it on Twitter. I don't use Facebook, but you can put it on Facebook as well, or anywhere you can be more visible, or create a blog around it. Let people know what you've done and how the challenges you face, or just stories around it. So you have to put yourself out there. In the era of AI, where even to get a job now or to search for candidate now, people goes to AI. So AI needs to have your details. It's more like you need to be present on on Google. So as well as you need to throw yourself out there. Like if a recruiter says, I need someone, can you find me someone that have this skill that has done XYZ before and all that, giving that structure query or prompt, you will go online and search for people. But if you can't find it, you can't find you. How can he find you? You must have put a blog somewhere, a LinkedIn post somewhere that shows that you've done XYZ so that the recruiter can, AI can see that, get your details and share with that recruiter. Oh, this person seems to have done or match the profile you're looking out for. So that's one of the things that are changing within AI, as we see it. It's not just about certifications. Certifications are good. I myself have a lot of them, but these days it's more of what you've done and putting it out there. That's the most important thing. And lastly, we need to know that AI takes over tasks, not accountability. We are still responsible for it at the end of the day. And the three key things that are there also that are durable stack, the cloud, the data, and judgment, all that still sit within our purview to manage. Then the last one, automate your own job first. That is, as a solution architect, as I am, I one of the first things I start doing is to automate my work. Things that takes me hours, now takes me a few minutes because I can get AI to do it and automate it and make it fantastic, right? So those are the things, and that becomes our portfolio. So those are the things we need to also focus on. Thank you all, and if the time for question is now, then I'm ready to take questions.
All right, thank you, Matayo. Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Anybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Regarding questions, so we'll be taking questions right after all sessions, where a link will be dropped for anyone to drop their questions via that link. So once all the speakers have spoken, we'll start taking questions.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right. So we'll be moving on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Muhammad Talha Khan. Muhammad is an AI architect and AI engineering expert with hands-on experience helping 17 plus businesses deploy production-ready AI systems that have reduced manual work by 40 to 60% and has delivered measurable business impact. His expertise includes designing AI agent systems, building LLM-powered products and MVPs, conducting AI audits, and helping teams adopt AI effectively. Over the past 2 years, he has delivered AI and data engineering solutions for teams across the UK, US, and beyond. Unfortunately, Muhammad will not be joining us physically as an impromptu situation came up, but the recording was sent and we'll play that recording. His topic is from AI tools to AI solutions, how IT professionals can leverage AI every day. All right. So we can start the recording, please.
Really work. So it has become a multiplier for the IT professionals. I'll show you how you can get yourself equipped with the AI to building real workflows and solutions for your organizations and for your work. So let me get into another slide. So as you see, guys, we are going to cover the AI tools for every IT pro should know: AI troubleshooting, prompt engineering, AI powered automation, best practices for AI integrations. So as you talk about like the pioneer tools out there, the pros that we have been using for the coding and development, no doubt, Cloud Code, GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Rinser, and There are lots more, like even open models. Chinese models are doing wonderful jobs. I recommend Command Code. You guys should check Command Code for that. And for the IT ops, you can see Data.ai, PaperDuty, and for the automation, if you're into like the enterprise business, so you definitely like to check Zapier. And if you're like trying to build yourself in automation or something, so you should check out Anet, and whereas you can like deploy it up over the system on your own system, so you can use it up like you can say for free for life. And for the knowledge insights, I really love Perplexity. Like the search option the Perplexity has is really beating out the other models, and it is really clean that if I ask something for it, so it really dig deeper and get me the whole picture about it. So this is one of the best systems out there. And another tool that I like, and I ask my students to check out, that is Notebook LM, which definitely helps you out for like taking out on new adventures. Like you want to learn some new languages, like currently new languages are in the market, so you want to learn about Zing, let's say. So you brought your Zing documentation over there via link, and you ask different questions. You can create videos, you can see data diagrams and everything within that tool. So this is one of the amazing tools. You should check out Leap and other tools as well. And the security, that is an important part for the AI tools. So security, I talk about guardrails. So there are different guardrails like frameworks out there. One of the stuff is like this. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so I'm back and I was talking about like the guardrails. So mainly guardrails, one of those points that many of the people are not taking attention and taking it important and taking it seriously. So I want you all, while building out the system, create guardrails. And there's one of my favorite framework that I haven't written it up here. It's about like Microsoft's guardrail framework. You can search it up, and it is one of the best frameworks out there for the guardrail system. And for the communication, most of the guys are using Otter AI, and you all know about the others. So I'm moving ahead. So mainly, if I talk about like AI troubleshooting and IT operations, so you know what happens? The incident is becoming quite faster. Like let's say, uh, you guys take an example. I've worked with one of a company that is one of the giants in the medicine industry, pharmaceutical industry. So what I have seen, they had the problem that their backups won't get up automatically. They need to intervene a human to go up and like see which machine gets interrupted cause of the internet or cause of any internal issue or cause of the file system or any of the problem that happens. So their clients or their you can say the hubs mainly uh, like suffer through that of the operation. So in that way, their ROI was decreasing because their clients and customers was losing the patience. But because of AI, when you create a workflow to solve that up, let's say there are log analysis. I assume you guys already do that, the log analysis of your errors. You see which error is coming through and what you have to do and how to resolve it up and what would be the solution and whatever it out, like whatever workflow you guys are using up. So let's plan out that thing that we did as StackArc Lab for that specific company. So you would see, okay, what is actually AI helping in troubleshooting and IT operations. So I'm not naming the company, but I've told you the industry. So their backups won't be turning out automatically. So they have the Microsoft Dynamics system. So we created a Copilot agent. And what it does, it monitors all the logs, and we identified what kind of errors or error codes it's generating earlier. So we trained that agent on that, and we also told what patterns to understand and what does the team do when such kind of an error comes up, and what you have to do when this happens. And sometimes we also have the categories like high, important, low, critical, so that the AI can mark and do the solution based on to what we told it to do. Like let's say if there is something critical and important, so there would be an email to the specific person and they need to intervene and do the stuff by themselves. But otherwise, if there is a minor error which doesn't have that priority, so it could be resolved through the AI agent that we created. So that's how AI troubleshooting and IT operations can help, and that is why the real impact can comes in where it's like let's what I've told you, like 73% faster incident resolution plus 40% fewer escalations to L3 support, and let's say more logs analyzed per shift, because a human would be like analyzing 200, 400, 500 logs per hour, but an AI could do more than that. So let me move towards the next slide. uh, Guys, we have been like talking about the prompt engineering, and prompt engineering is the single highest leverage for any of the IT professional using AI today. Four techniques that matter the most. First, role and context framing, where you tell the AI who it is, and what job he needs to do. And second of all is like chain of thought, force it to reason step by step through your pipeline or architecture. Third one is like few shot with your own data, give it examples from your past incidents, your runbooks, your naming conventions. This is what makes generic AI into your personal AI. Like few shot is you can say converting your narrow AI into more personalized side of an AI. And the fourth one is like constraint based outputs. Basically tell it exactly what you want, JSON, specific fields, word limits, type. The difference between a toy demo and a production way tool is almost always the prompt. Okay, so let me tell you one of the important part between all of these four, that you require a context, you require a task, you require a result, you require a format. These four constitutes a whole of a prompt that you need in all four of them. So basically, context is very important, and it is also called that context is the king. Context is the king. So this is where we all must do the same thing as we need to. Guys, here are four patterns you can literally copy and start using after the session. One is the debug helper that you are telling about the error, the stack, the relevant output that you want, and you can ask what are the top three likely causes. So it's going to help you about like the debugging your stuff, and also you can automate this thing. Second of all, you can create a runbook generator where you can give it the scenario plus include the pre-checks, and you can ask about the verification commands and everything. So it's going to create a runbook for your stuff and for your scenario. And for the code review, you can give it a language about the specifics and rate it out on based on that, and it will give you all the code review stuff based on that coding stuff. And for the architecture review, you can ask, this is our architecture system for this service, and you want to like identify the single points or the flaws within that system, and it can help you do that. So I'm moving towards the next one. This is my favorite part, that what we do with for the companies. Firstly, we do the AI audits. Later on, we move towards like either they like to transform into the AI enabled or AI first companies, but or AI GT companies, but based on what we did the audit to see where they stand, right? Because everybody's pouring a lot of money into the AI kind of word and everything, so that's what we don't want to do. So basically, what happens? Where is the do you know where like AI powered automation and intelligent workflows start from? Like it starts from where a person is doing something repetitive, right? When you do something repetitive, so you need to change it into some steps, like an algorithm or like a flow chart. You remember? So majorly, you can break all of this stuff into bits and pieces. So those pieces help you create an automation. Like you start from the manual stuff to the scripted to the AI assisted and to the agentic part. And what happens, let's say I'm about to create an automation to automate all my content platform. So what I will do, let's say I create all my bunch of like captions on Gemini or Claude, and later on I use any of the tool to post it up on social media. So what will happen? I can create a pipeline where I can drop those images or create one of a node where my topic would be like input via my phone, so that workflow could be worked through my phone, that whenever I have to post I can get into a topic and I can give it to a topic, and later on it like connected to the Gemini API or Google API or Claude API, so it can like create some of the information, get in the caption, create the stuff, and later it will push it to my social media. So it's one of the basic stuff. But real world automation, the examples you can see that I've mentioned here, one of the important is this one. So like that the PR when happens, so you need to review and deploy. So basically you can use CI/CD actions and you can create CI/CD workflows, and onto that there comes the AI that can help you review that part. And also the ticket, we have built one of a system related to it for a client, that where the real-time errors could be resolved with the help of an AI, and the human in the loop could see it through what changes have been made, and upon the successful review, that changes will be added to the system. So this is how the things have been working. So would you like create your AI workflow stack? The foundational layer would be like LLM APIs, embedding models, vector DBs. All of you know about it as and the orchestration layer is where Anadan, LangGraph, or agent, MCP tool, and these stuff would be there. And for the application layer, you need to see the front and the face of the project to just coming out. So, so I want to talk about the best practices for DDA integration. Start with the pain, not the hype. Honestly, you have seen a lot of YouTubers, a lot of influencers talking about AI can do this, AI could do that, AI this, AI that. So remember a thing, 90% of the stuff is paid or sponsored. So you should try integrating AI within your flow, within your business stuff, where it actually helps you out reducing the human stuff, human repetition, error loop thing. So you can leave that whole workflow autonomously so that it would work completely at the best part. And one of the important things that people are missing out these days, that is like building a prompt library. I haven't seen any of the organization have the prompt library, so I recommend you all to have a prompt library within your organization so that you can create bunch of the stuff that is standardized. Okay, so and this thing like you're in the loop, because if you're like doing something sensitive, so you can have human in the loop concept for every workflow where you will be responsible for approving everything, and the AI will do. And let's say for measurement, you can also add in the logs, you can also add in the telemetry, so that you would know how much time has been saved, what the error has been there, and what the resolution has been, so you can identify how AI is helping you to scale. Security always, there's the guardrails, and teach your team one of the important parts. So let me go through towards the next one. There's a key takeaways, as the AI is a daily productivity tool, not a future experiment. And right away, I can say by the end of 2040, I might be working as a farmer. Okay, because robots would be there, human won't be needed, and we should have made a lot of money by that time. And I would also add one more thing, that we should be self-resilient so we can take up on the world further if we have a life to live. So prompt engineering is always the highest leverage, and if you start through it, you should go towards like loop engineering, etc., etc. And always start with your biggest pain point, but break it into pieces and automate that first. And later on, we discuss that how like AI assisted workflows can help incrementally plus build a prompt library. That is important part. And this is how you can guys add me up. This is my LinkedIn. This is my company's website. This is my community. You guys are always welcome to join it up. And thank you so much, towards the show again, one more time. And thank you for time. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Wow, such an insightful session. And yes, so yes, in case you missed out any parts, we'll be putting the full recording on our YouTube channel, which will be shared on our community page, so you can always refer back to read the session you want to listen to. Okay, Muhammad is not here, but anyways, thank you so much for such a great session and recording. All right, so we're going on to our last speaker, Torestech Boyo. I'm sure everyone here, or majority of our attendees, know who Torestech Boyo is. So I'll just give a quick recap on who he is. He is a technology entrepreneur, IT support professional, and the founder of TorestTech, a community-driven platform focused on empowering IT support professionals and helping them build successful careers in tech. He is also the founder of Create, an AI-powered ecosystem connecting IT support professionals with job, learning opportunities, and tools needed to grow their careers. So Shadi Boyo is going to be our last speaker for today's webinar, and he will be speaking on the topic, staying relevant in IT support, the skills AI can't replace. But before I hand over the microphone to him, please a reminder that I have sent the link to a Google form where you can fill in your questions. So feel free to write as much questions as you can. And if you have any questions for Muhammad, you can as well write that, and we will send that across to him to have it answered. Mr. Torestech, over to you, please.
All right. Thank you so much for the intro. I want to give a big shout out to Omotayo and Mohammed for their sessions. I believe every one of us took away powerful insights from those sessions. I myself took away a couple of things that also intercepted with a few points of mine. And I believe as we have this conversation, we'll see what I mean. So once again, thank you so much to everyone for joining this call. As you know, we always focus on impacting knowledge to our community. And if you have questions during the session, and even while I speak, please go ahead and fill the form so we can respond while we have the brief panel session after myself. So I'll be going right into what I'll be discussing today. So can you see my screen, everybody? You can drop an emoji if you can see my screen. All right. We are very active. I can see some familiar faces there. I really appreciate you guys. We have the best community out there. Yeah. So I'll be talking about how AI won't eliminate jobs in IT support. And it's basically moving the baseline up. And I think Motaya has even established this fact because one of the things that I hear from time to time, even when employers try to have conversations with us about our community and professionals in our space, they say, line one, line two, line three supports that category doesn't really, exist much anymore because you see, line one support, these are the help desk guys, the um, basic support level guys, and all those guys. Those careers have basically been taken over by AI. They have basically been taken over by AI. And almost I said this also. And why is that so? Because when you're talking about your normal help desk issues, you walk up to, your IT support officer in your organization and you tell him, oh, I tried to put on my system today and it didn't come up. What can I do about it? Then it tells you, oh, just restart your computer or check whether the socket is plugged or, those basic things at that most basic level. And these are the things that AI can actually respond to you. So you can just, check it up online and say, oh, my system isn't coming up. What can I do about it? AI tells you, oh, you can just easily, and that's what we mean by when we say line one support has been, completely taken over by AI. But let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Let me know, bring my slides back here. So there are a couple of things AI is good at, and there are a couple of things AI is not good at. And those are areas where we would excel as human beings. I was watching a documentary yesterday, and there was a conversation around the computing power AI uses as opposed to the computing power the human brain uses. We as humans, we use around 20 watts of electricity. It's very minute, as opposed to what an AI model, which runs on various sorts of infrastructure uses. They use about, I think, 700 watts per cascade. So a cascade has different slices of chips that AI uses. So you see the vast difference between ourselves and AI. So AI is good at retrieval and log analysis. It's good at summarizing stuff, pattern recognition, ticket categorization, scripts, and basic automation, routine troubleshooting, right? But you still need someone to interpret a situation. You tell AI, what I mean by this, if you tell AI, oh, I have a problem, I've been trying to browse on my system since morning and I haven't been able to browse, but on the same network, the other guy is browsing. And AI tells you, oh, these are the list of issues that could be happening to you. AI doesn't know what network you are on. It doesn't know the nature of your company. It doesn't know anything. It just tells you, it just repeats, it just regurgitates, information it collects online. So AI does not have the ability to interpret the situation. So as a professional, as an engineer, interpreting situations is a skill of concern. Now, when I have conversations with employers, also one of the things they look at is how well you are able to adapt quickly to circumstances. If you find yourself in a situation in your organization and let's say you are cross between a rock and a hard place, how well are you able to navigate that situation? So people look more now on your soft skills as to a very large degree, because almost anybody can use ChatGPT, almost anybody can do all those things. So now it's more like, how are you able to work around situations? Secondly, how are you able to decide what to do? Your AI or whatever your tool you use cannot decide for you eventually. They just give you different options to pick from. Number three, AI cannot assess the consequences. AI cannot approve the action, and AI cannot communicate the decision or own the outcome. So whatever you do after using your AI to do it, you own the consequences of those actions. If it's eventually good, the accolades go to you. If it's bad, the consequences go to you. So these are the basic soft skills that no matter what happens, AI cannot overrun this. I also wanted to add that information is basically available to almost anybody now. In fact, we're living in a time and age where any sort of information is available to anybody. Anybody can check for any sort of information. But what difference? The difference there rather is, what are you willing to do with that information that is out there? So depth makes you dangerous. A weak prompt says, how do I fix internet connection? And a strong prompt says, Windows 11 device connected to Wi-Fi, device has a valid IP, listing out the issues preemptively. So I just remember the situation earlier, and I believe an issue where this issue comes up is when people do not have the patience to actually break down issues. If you are looking for solutions, so yeah, nobody's an island of knowledge, but when you're looking for solutions, please endeavor to have the patience to actually break down issues, so you can actually get responses that you can even learn from, other than just finding one weird answer right away. Because even if it gives you a very most basic answer, you can end up doing something that would cause more damage, than good. So when you are prompting, you should break down the problem more, so you'll be able to get responses quality responses. AI makes shallow knowledge less valuable, not deep knowledge. Do not use AI to avoid learning networking. Learn networking so AI becomes useful. So don't let AI become your brain. So use AI to basically enhance your tasks. You're going to be using AI to enhance. AI is not replacing what you are doing. If not, you get stuck in a loop. I've seen people get stuck, and for the most basic things that they were very familiar with before, but due to the fact that they've been, consistently doing repeated tasks with AI, eventually, AI just takes over, how they compute as human beings. Technical judgment. Imagine a scenario where AI recommends a command that will resolve an incident. The command works, but the environment is production, or the system affects 5,000 users, or the change bypasses a security control. Was the AI technically correct? Yes, it was. Was implementing it the right decision? No, it was not. So let me give us another example. Let's assume we're working in Cisco, and there are various departments in the organization. It's a networking company. Now, every organization has different offices there. And if an office has a networking problem, you should be able to isolate the problem with subnets in that office. So let's assume you browse online and you say, oh, I have a problem with, my computer. And then AI tells you, oh, you need to restart the server. You need to restart the server. And then let's assume you are new in the organization. Then you walk into the IT room, and then you hit restart. You restart the whole server, thereby shutting every everybody's network down in the whole organization with thousands and thousands of users. What happens? Yes, when you restart the server, yes, everybody, it works, you know, but was implementing it the right decision? Absolutely not. So technical judgment is still a very much viable skill that one should have while using whatever tool they are using while prompting. So I gave this little footnote. Knowing how to solve a problem is one skill. Knowing whether you should solve it that way in that environment at that time is another skill. Secondly is moral judgment. Imagine a completely legitimate access request. The system can technically grant the access, and AI can tell you how to grant access. But you notice the person is leaving the organization, or the request grants far more access than needed. In incidents, AI can write a calm status update, but it cannot independently decide whether the statement is honest regarding the outage. So AI doesn't know the fullest extent to whatever decision it's taking. So it's now left to you as the professional or the engineer to consistently vet whatever responses that you are getting from the AI or whatever tool that you are using. Um, okay. So a shift in career in enterprise IT support infrastructure is we see the world moving now towards how much they are able to trust professionals. While we connect individuals to companies and organizations, unlike other careers that we have out there, like software developers, graphic designers, and all that, over here in this space, we have to consistently prove that we are trustworthy individuals because most of our work is infrastructure wise, it's mostly hidden behind firewalls and all that. So we now consistently have to prove that we can, do things. Now, how do you improve that aspect of yourself? Number one, how often do you close tickets? Over here in Nigeria, I don't know if most organizations, most small organizations do not necessarily use ticketing systems. But how well, I would say, for this aspect, I'll say, how well are you able to resolve basic issues? How quickly are you able to resolve basic issues? How good of a troubleshooter are you? How good of a problem solver are you? How good of a systems thinker are you? How fast do you think? How good of an engineer are you? For this engineering part, it's basically boils down to how much automation are you able to do, how well are you able to script systems and all that, how much processes are you able to optimize, are you able to automate, even if you are not asked to do tasks, even if you're not asked to, suggest changes, how well do you come up sometimes and say, oh, I feel we can automate this process. So I feel we can actually do this for this process. There are always problems to be solved. And when you are identified as somebody that, oh, he actually, thinks of issues outside the box and then he just, finds ways to resolve them. You might think it's not relevant, but I can tell you for free, most recruiters we have conversations with things they look out for. Even when you're having conversations and interviews and all that, you can just chip it in there that, oh, this is something I always do, this is something I advise companies, this is something I've learned, it gives you the edge. And then, of course, like I just said, how much of a tech advisor are you? And all that. Career growth isn't about collecting certifications. It is increasing the complexity of problems you can be trusted with to also resolve. So they are not just giving you problems to hold, but also resolve. So I believe, yeah. So this is the blueprint I created as a support professional who is looking to grow and looking to um, grow and master skills in this day and age that we are in, so they don't become irrelevant. Number one, you have to consistently learn and build fundamentals. You cannot go wrong with building fundamentals because wherever the world is going, computers will still need operating systems to function. We'll still need networks to run whatever activities we'll be doing online. We still need, I mean, most of our operations now on cloud, of course, security and troubleshooting. So most of these fundamentals are very much evergreen. So if you are able to build yourself and learn the fundamental principles that governs all these areas here, there is no new technology out there that wants to come out that you won't remain relevant there. Number two, apply what you have learned. So you don't necessarily have to wait for your next job, or you don't necessarily have to wait for problems. So these are things you can do on your own. Like I normally advise my community, as much as you can, try and do projects as much as you can, no matter how simple the projects are. Just do them and include them on your CV, on your LinkedIn profile, and very soon on grade, add it there that, oh, I've done XYZ in this, I've done XYZ in this. Very few times do I see support professionals or people in enterprise IT put in their space, in their LinkedIn profiles that, oh, I've done XYZ projects. Now, like I said earlier, most of our careers are hidden behind infrastructure work. So we don't necessarily have the ability like software designers or software developers rather to upload our code to GitHub and people can easily check, or graphic designers that have images and portfolios and all that. But what we can do is showcase, an example of tasks that we have done or projects that we have done. We can always include those things on our LinkedIn profiles or even GitHub. You can put scripts there that you have written. Like it sets you above other professionals that exist in your space. Secondly, we need to learn how to automate processes. We should also learn how to specialize. We should pick an aspect. So all these zones out here or careers mentioned here: networking, operating systems, identity, cloud, security, troubleshooting. More of the time, I always also say you can pick one area here that you can specialize in and then grow there. Think of topics that you can, optimize, and automate in your organization. And then secondly, we need to learn how to communicate, learn how to explain decisions, learn how to take risks, explain risks also to your compliance officers or your managers, even contract work also. Learn how to explain risks, communicate risks, technical issues clearly with non-technical people, because some of the times you might even find yourself in organizations that are not necessarily they're not people, they are not necessarily IT savvy. So you should also learn how to communicate. So this is basically my blueprint for any professional looking to stay relevant in this dispensation. And finally, every serious organization still needs a person who can look at a correct answer and say, not like this, not here, and not for this reason. Don't try to be the professional who knows the most tools, but the one who can be trusted with the hardest decisions. That's the very end of my session, and thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Trisha Jupuyu. It was such a great and amazing session, right? And thank you to everyone who has stayed here up until this moment. We have received about 4 questions. So if you have questions to ask, please do so using the link in the comment section. And we have moved on to our Q&A session where we'll be answering some of the questions that has been written so far. All right, so I'll be picking out such questions. So our first question goes to Omotayo. Yes. Yes. Okay. And the question is, a lot of IT support jobs involve repetitive tasks like password reset, ticket classification, and basic troubleshooting. Do you think entry-level IT support roles will eventually disappear, or would the expectations for these roles simply change?
Yes. The answer is yes. And I will say yes with an explanation. So it's supposed to be, like maybe then, I don't know what it's called now in Europe, but they'll call it IT. IT, when you're in school and you get to an organization, you come in as an IT, whereby you still have to go back to school. So you mostly get to do that. You have someone like to onboard you for a couple of weeks, and then you start supporting with such activities as an entry level, or when you started a job as a junior IT support person. But these days, that is going away because AI is very effective and efficient at that area. So now the point is what's next. So there's always a new boundary, just as TorestTech has mentioned, right? It's now the base has been moved up. The baseline is now up now, which means what we classify to be entry level job now is gone. Then the next level that seems to be, oh, maybe now you need to have been in the job for like 2 years or a year plus and stuff, becomes a new entry level job. And how does that becomes a new entry job? So it's more of understanding how AI works and actually knowing how to use AI. For instance, AI that does those kind of jobs requires instructions, requires maintenance. Look at it from that angle of I need to maintain this, I need to control this. So as an individual coming in newly into an environment, you need to learn how to use AI. AI becomes the baseline of how to now speak the language of an entry level within any organization. So it's about knowing all the tools that was mentioned by the other speaker as well, like by Mohammed, understanding how to use this. We just need to expose ourselves to a lot of tools while in school or while even going through entry level or when you want to get into any entry level position these days. Just the idea is focus on tool sets around the AI, understand how to use them very well, and then you can have a position for yourself within an organization that leverages on this tool.
All right. Thank you so much, Motayo. Okay. Thanks so much, Motayo. Right. And as he mentioned, if you want to go back to the recording to take note of the AI tools that were mentioned. So putting up the recording on YouTube as well, so you can always refer back, get all the tools that were mentioned, and start using them. So the next question is for both speakers. Well, all speakers, but as Mohammed is not here, to be for our 2 speakers currently present, and Tosha will be going first. And the question is, I'm still early in my IT career and I don't have much experience yet. With AI becoming better at troubleshooting and resolving basic issues, what skills should I prioritize now so I don't become irrelevant? So
Yeah, I was muted. So I would say, as somebody who is just starting out in the space, you will not necessarily have a direction. I mean, if you don't have a direction yet, I would assume I'll assume you have a direction, I don't have a direction. So if you do not have a direction, I would say try and get familiar with the fundamentals, because that's how you get to know what you like. You get to know the line you prefer tooling, whether it's networking or security, or it's identity. So if you are somebody who doesn't know yet, you are new in this space, I would say just do some light research on those and those fundamentals, and then you get to know where you want to go to. Secondly, if you have a direction and you are still just starting out, I would say try and look for areas in that space that can be automated. Check for organizations that are currently automating processes in that space. Any other day now, you see 5 startups coming up to say, "Oh, we have a new way of automating this process in networking. We have a new way of doing this, a new way of doing that." So there's always something new coming up in that aspect. And if you are already on that line, you're already going forward on that space, perhaps it's networking. Just try and familiarize yourself with those processes there, and I'm sure you'll be good.
All right. Thank you to schedule. I'm sorry, do you need me to repeat the question or you're good to go, please?
No, I think I'm good to go. I think you has said the most part of it, but then I would give myself as an example. Like, maybe if you can follow the step I was fortunate to follow, right? It's not something planned, but just stumbled on. Is finding a mentor and not an advisor. There are a lot of advisors out there that will tell you this how you should do it and all that, but they have not done it before, right? A mentor is someone who has done it before or who is currently doing it. So if you're new and you have an uncle, a brother, a neighbor, anyone, it can even be someone you meet online, which you can reach out to anyone and say, "You're in this space. I want to be like you. Please, I need you to mentor me, guide me." And that's the major thing, because I'm assuming that you probably may be new to AI itself, right? And all that. So you need someone to tell you this is what to study, this is how to go, because the bottom line here is you need to make AI your friend. You need to know everything about AI that you can know as per your level or based on what you're exposed to. That is the only way to have a position or a way for yourself in this era. And I'll give an example of that. Like, I was speaking with one of my colleague or previous colleague, I would say, in one of the telecommunication company in Nigeria. And he was telling me, we're just gisting, and he was telling me that one of the most productive, the one person within his team is the most productive person above all other software engineers there. And it's an intern. Intern meaning someone that just finished school, or is it finished school now? But someone that just came in, not a full employee, right? Who just come to spend maybe 6 months, 3 months to work there. And what was the guy doing that is different from others? He was just using AI to create a lot of applications that the people within the organization requires, like, oh, the finance team, they need this, they are trying to do this. You could use AI to do it and get it done for them. And so he's engaging and getting everything done with that. This is a guy that has no prior experience, like the main team that are there. The main team that are there are waiting for someone to tell them, okay, build this application, do this front end, do this. But this is a guy taking initiative. That guy, if you go and study the guy very well, he has a mentor, he has someone who is guiding him on what he needs to do. So those are the things you need. You need someone that can have a foresee kind of, or someone that has a clearer view of your space or the space you want to get into, to kind of guide you, to mentor you on how to actually carve a niche or carve a space for yourself. And even maybe not necessarily these days you go into being an employee, you can also start your own company as well. All these things make it very easy. And I will take a little bit more time to explain this further. Like, if you look at the era of 2010 when Amazon started with cloud, that you can do a lot of things in cloud. If you want to start a company, you need massive amount of money to start. You need to buy servers. I remember those days I used to buy routers, Cisco routers, and all those stuff. Now, imagine those days that you have to buy all those. You need a lot of investment upfront. But now you can do all those things on cloud. It makes a lot of things easy. You can create websites. You can do a lot of stuff, right? Have your application hosted. You don't need to to stress buy public IP. No, no, all those things is gone. So with AI also, a lot of stuff that makes it a lot difficult to start your own company is a lot easier. You don't need 100 developer. You don't need to even get a web designer to design your front end, your website, or do all these things. Can get AI with the right AI tool. You get it done faster, easy, get it to the right customer. So things are becoming a lot easier. You need a mentor to understand what is your vision, just as just mentioned, your direction, how you want to go. Let the person know and guide you appropriately to get to your destination of what you want to become.
All right. Thank you so much, Matayo. Thanks so much. So we have just one more question. Although the question was for Muhammad, but I don't know if I should ask the question. Let me just read out the question. If any other speaker would just like to take it. Sorry, comment. Yes. Okay, so the question is for someone working in a regulated environment like banking or fintech, how can we use AI without exposing sensitive company or customer information?
Let me say something first. All right. I think what I also talked to, but let me just say something first. It just reminds me of an incident that happened recently. I think it was with Claude or so. They had a vulnerability attack. So there's this function in Claude where you can share a conversation, right? You can export a conversation you had with the Claude. So unfortunately for them, apparently, if you export that conversation and put it on Google and just search for that conversation, you will see a list of conversations similar to that one. So this means everybody's conversation that has happened in Claude. So they had millions of people's data that had been leaked from just that act. But I believe they've resolved it now because I tried it recently to see. I didn't try for any malicious reasons, anyways, security wise. And yeah, they resolved it. So one thing that was got leaked then were people's financial data, social security numbers. I mean, so much private information that the question was now, is it that when people want to give prompts and all, they just copy and paste their bank details and like, oh, help me with this information and all that. And that's one of the problems I believe Mohammed spoke about in his recording. We need to learn how to implement guardrails in whatever prompts that we are doing. If we're submitting documents, we need to learn how to sanitize those documents. Whatever information we are submitting to whatever tools we are using. For example, if you are doing audits, you don't have tools that are inbuilt into the software. For example, Excel has its own inbuilt tools now, and their third-party softwares are also inbuilt into Excel. So if you don't have those kind of tools and you're the kind of person that likes just dumping data on all these LLMs, and try to sanitize as much as possible, the data you're putting there. And secondly, just avoid doing or dropping sensitive work on LLMs, because whether or not they are able to safeguard their models, eventually your information is going in there. And even these softwares themselves tell you, oh, do not put sensitive data there. So as much as possible, just avoid it. But if you have to, sanitize. And when I mean sanitize, I mean if you're submitting a PDF document, a screenshot or a picture, whatever, you can as well cover sensitive data on those documentations. Yeah.
All right. Thank you to reschedule. Matayo, do you want to?
Yeah, I think I would just you said everything by the way, but just one, right? So regardless of your position in an organization, before you use any AI tool within your organization, you just need to seek the proper approval Proper approval meaning that in most organizations they always have a privacy team or security team that are stakeholders that are allocated to ensure that there's no shadow IT or shadow AI or shadow IT. I mean by using AI tool that is not approved to be used within the organization, because that's the most important thing. Just the same way that you are not allowed to send office data or document to your personal email. Likewise, you are not allowed to just upload, any document for any reason on any chat bot or application AI application just because you want to make your work faster, you want to get something done. But you need to major thing is to seek approval, knows that you have the right to do whatever you need to do. That way is the best way to be secure, because if anything goes wrong, it becomes who approves this, and then you're safe. So that's the best approach I would take. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Omotayo. And we have come to the end of our Q&A session. If you have more questions, you can as well use the link or join our community so you have access to our TorestTech phone number so you can send your messages there. We'll also be dropping the LinkedIn profile of our speakers so you can also follow them on LinkedIn and connect with them if you want to have longer conversations with them. Right. Okay. So before we wrap up, we just want to do a brief introduction, the products that we're working on. So Shade, please.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure everybody here, or most people here in my community, has definitely seen Creed. So like I mentioned a bit of it while I was speaking. So the same way we have software developers and graphic designers and the likes, where they are able to, advertise their skills and all that. Unfortunately, enterprise IT do not have that kind of opportunity. Most of the time, recruiters and hiring agencies and all that tend to start from scratch when they are trying to hire people from our space. But we are trying to resolve this. We are building a platform where you can build your professional, your profile there, so you can easily get jobs, quickly get hired, and basically you just carry it around as your your professional career wallet per se. There'll also be a community on there, so we can have conversation. So it's a concept we are working on, and we're going to be launching, I believe, this week. We can get on with it. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm sure we are all excited too from our feedback.
Okay, great. Thank you so much to Reschedule. And yes, so we'll be dropping more information about Creed on, well, we have been doing that on our community. And I just dropped the link to join our community on WhatsApp, and Discord link will be shared on WhatsApp community very shortly, as we're trying to also move to Discord, right? So once again, thank you so much for joining today's webinar 4.0. And I really want to appreciate every single person that has joined, stayed to the end, and also an active member of our community. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you in webinar 5.0. And thank you to our amazing speakers. Thank you so much for such an insightful, educative, and powerful session. And we wish everyone an amazing rest of the day. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Tayo, thank you
Thanks
so
all.
much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.